Hello, everybody. How are you? It is Saturday night. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show live. I hope you're having a great day. It is absolutely stunning. I wish I could have taken the show outside for you folks. It is so beautiful outside this home studio right now. We were outdoors most of the day, preparing the show too, getting the show ready, but we were outdoors and we were on the coast, and the way the coastal breeze was coming off, it's in the low 80s. It's still in the low 80s right now this Saturday night at about a little after 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It's absolutely gorgeous here. And have we not earned it, huh? With everything that we've been going through as a society collective to have some beautiful weather. People are out and about. I wouldn't say as many people are out and about as normally would be. At least, around these parts, from what I've seen, there are people out. They are enjoying family time. And you don't really see people playing basketball because they're not able to do that yet. You don't really see children on the swings. But you do see people strolling in the parks and doing some hiking, social distancing. Tennis is back in swing. Matter of fact, we were playing some tennis today. We did tennis. We did cycling. We did some hiking, and we were just enjoying the beautiful coast. I hope you too. I hope you had a beautiful day and a wonderful day today. And you're here to join us for some fun. We've got a great show in store, and we've got a special guest who may be joining us, may not. She has a little technical issue happening, so we're just going to wait to see if she is going to be joining us as well. How was your day? I know there was a couple of birthdays happening today for people too, and a couple of anniversaries being celebrated this weekend. So to all of those who are celebrating birthdays and anniversaries, and to all of you, I say cheers. Welcome to you and you and you and you and you. Thanks for joining us. It's Saturday night. As always, we've got that disco ball going. We changed the background based on the theme or whatever is happening. And on Saturday night, we sort of go a little retro and do the disco ball. Hope you're having a great day. And again, let me know how things are going for you today. Have you been out and about? Are you still sort of cooped up inside? Have you been able to get out of your house and maybe, stroll along a pathway or maybe go by the water, whatever it may be? A lot of people are itching to get out of their houses, and they're itching to, of course, do whatever they can to get some fresh air and get some vitamin D, because again, the weather here in the Northeast along the coast has been just really, really spectacular. And it's taken a while too, because it seems like spring has just completely been delayed. I don't know about in your part, wherever you are around the world, but at least here, of course, in Australia, they're going into fall. So all of our Australian friends, we say happy fall, just about, but going into winter soon too. But here, we finally got some beautiful weather, and it's just been absolutely gorgeous. So we hope you're having a good weekend. And it's been a very busy, busy weekend here. We're still celebrating the win of the Telly Award. If you'd like to see the documentary, of course, when you stream it on something like these platforms, the picture and the audio quality is never as good as if you're actually watching the real thing. But you can see the documentary that I hosted and executive produced that won a Telly Award this week. We're very excited about that, the International Telly Awards. There were some 20,000 entries, and we shared it with you on Jim Masters Show Live last night. So if you go back and you watch on YouTube, my YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV, or right here on Facebook, scroll down the page at Jim Masters TV, you can actually see the full documentary that won the International Telly Award. It's been a wonderful week. That was such a surprise for us, the crew and I. We were so excited to be honored. That's an honor that comes from colleagues in the television industry throughout the world. So we're very, very excited about that. I want to tell you also, as we celebrate this Saturday night together, we're going to have some fun. We're going to have a lot of viewer interaction. So if you've got comments, if you want to tell me how your day has gone, if there are birthdays, anniversaries, just post your comments and I'll take a look, and we'll have some chat here today as well. But I got to let you know, there are some amazing guests that are coming up. And if you're just joining us, cheers to you, and cheers to you, and cheers to you as well. And to everybody. And your friends are here. We'll introduce your friends in just a moment. I know you like to have the cast of characters introduced. I've got to tell you right off the bat, on Monday night, these two extraordinary sisters, they are the Harp Twins. Feel free to Google them. Feel free to look them up. You'll see what I'm talking about. They are renowned. They are spectacular. They are a YouTube and internet sensation. They really are. They have millions of followers on the internet, especially on Instagram and YouTube. They are two sisters from the Midwest. They are classically trained, but they play the harp in an exquisite way. And they do, believe it or not, you look at the two of them and you're like, wow, they must play instrumental, Celtic, maybe inspiring music. Yeah, they do that. But they also play rock and pop and heavy metal and just about anything. Incredibly, they are so talented. They're so beautiful inside and out. They are Camille and Kennerly Kitt, the Harp Twins. They are going to be on the show live Monday, this Monday, June 1st, 2020. There are special guests coming up this Monday. They are so extremely busy because they just released a new song and a new album. We've been talking back and forth as far as picking the date when they can join me. I first met them, actually. We've become dear friends, but I first met them last year, actually, when they were performing in Tim Janus's PBS special, Celtic Heart, which I was involved in with Mairead Nesbitt and the Harp Twins and Emu Magoon and just so many other people, exquisite musicians. And it was a public television special that was filmed in Maine, the beautiful coast of Maine, outdoors and indoors on stage. And then also some segments in Ireland and California as well. So the Harp Twins, again, if you want to learn more about them, feel free to Google them or YouTube them. You will see what I'm talking about. They are incredible, and they are going to be here. As soon as I announced that the Harp Twins are going to be on my show on Monday, everything blew up. All the comments, all the emails, all the texts, all the followers, their fans, as well as the people who follow me are excited. So we worked together on this PBS special. I did the PBS national breaks as host, stage emceeing and hosting during the concert as well. We all went to dinner after, and we just all became friends. And Mairead Nesbitt, who you saw earlier in an interview here on Jim Masters Show Live from Celtic Woman and Rocktopia and Celtic Heart, she was part of the show as well. But they are here. Don't miss the show Monday if you can't. Again, you can always see all the shows as well. And we were showing this at the beginning of the show, that if you miss anything, if you'd like to see episodes, because a lot of people are telling me they're loving going back in the archives and they're watching the shows in the archives. So there you go. If you want to see past episodes of the Jim Masters Show, you can just go to our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Jim Masters TV, or just go into YouTube and then search for Jim Masters TV. And you can enjoy all the past episodes, all the fun segments, all the great guests, and so much more. So again, feel free to go to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and take a look at all the great past episodes. A lot of people are watching the past fun episodes and segments that we've done, and so much more. So feel free to do that. You can also scroll through the Facebook page at Jim Masters TV, and you can follow us here as well on the Facebook page and check things out here as well. So again, some people have been asking me, gee, can I see past episodes of the show? Absolutely. Just go to the YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I'd love it. If you have a YouTube channel, or subscribe to yours as well. All of the past episodes are on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, and they're also parked right here on Facebook as well. So people have been asking about that. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. Again, the Harp Twins are joining us Monday. They are here Monday. They are incredible. Then we have some great guests coming up. Clara Francesca, a brilliant actress, is going to be joining us as well. Yep, you got it. And on future shows, John LaBarbera. He is a brilliant guitarist. He plays every instrument with strings you can think of. That is a guitar, a ukulele, a banjo. I mean, so many different kinds of string instruments. He's amazing. He's going to be here on the show as well. And then another great guest, Kip Sturgeon, is going to be joining us here. He is a brilliant singer and musician and guitarist as well. He's joining us in upcoming episodes on the program as well. And also Buffy Ford Stewart, wife of the legendary Jon Stewart, who wrote the song Daydream Believer. That's right, Daydream Believer, which is a brilliant, brilliant song that was made famous by Davy Jones, and not only Davy Jones, but the Monkees. So she's going to be here. This is her today. That's her with John. John had passed away in 2008, unfortunately. She has been keeping his legacy alive, and she's working on a major motion picture on Jon Stewart's life. Jon Stewart also was one of the founding members of the Kingston Trio. I was on a TV shoot in San Francisco. We got to go to her home, her lovely home. That's Buffy Ford Stewart. She'll be here next week, actually. Next Thursday, she's going to be our special guest. She's a singer-songwriter. She's a children's book author. She's a very, very beautiful, deep, inspiring person. We filmed for 10 hours at her beautiful home just north of San Francisco, California. She opened up her world and her home to us for our television shoot, and it was breathtaking. We became great friends as a result. She showed us everything, gold records, Grammys, all kinds of things that John got. It's just really going to be incredible, and she's a wonderful spirit. Another great guest coming up is Dwight Turner. He is a Screen Actors Guild actor in television and film, as well as commercials. You've probably seen him as well. Mark Vitale, who was Jesus and Jesus Christ Superstar on Broadway, is going to be here. Our great friend Tim Janis, who you know from many public television specials and countless beautiful inspirational albums. And we have so many great guests coming up, more fabulous guests coming up. I'm sure you'll recognize some of these fabulous faces. There's a whole host. We are booked actually with guests all the way till almost the end of June. Isn't that amazing? We really, really are. Now, I believe I have a special guest, and we're going to see if she's here. I don't see her on the screen. Marianne, are you there?
I am.
So you need to swivel your chair around the other direction because you're facing completely the other way. All we see is the back of your chair.
Back of my chair?
Yes, okay. Your camera is over here.
Okay, hold on.
This is funny. Are you sure that I'm not talking to Loretta LaRoche again? Well, now we just see the chair. And a nice wall hanging.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I see. Okay, here we go.
A little bit more.
I'm coming.
You're coming. I tell you, come on, folks. You have to never miss an episode of Jim Masters Show Live because you just never know what happens. Every show is different. Every show is unique. You've got to tell me, with all the craziness of the pandemic and all the craziness going on, you've got to tell me that this is not funny, especially on a Saturday night. Got the disco ball going. We've got our Oregon wine, and I toast to all of you. We've got our George Burns here too. George Burns welcomes you. Our sidekick George Burns is there. He says hello.
There we go.
Yeah, you're actually, if you look to the left, with your eyes, this way.
Yeah.
Not to the right. You're looking to the right, to the left more. Yes. Shift your eyes straight. Now you're looking right at me. Now that's it. Whatever that angle is or wherever that is. Now just scooting closer because you're far away. And then a little bit to the left.
Okay, I think I know what's going on here. Hold on.
So while we get things set up,
Here
she's
we
on.
go. No, that's not working. That's not working. I can't go anymore to the I'm in a wall here. There we go.
So make sure you look to the left because then you're looking at us. But is there any way you can lean more over?
Hold on. I got a piece of furniture here, Jim. Okay, how's that?
That's good. Now just look again the way you were before, straight on. A little bit more to the left. There. You're actually, believe it or not, as strange as it may seem, when you look exactly as you are right now, you're looking directly at me.
Okay. I have multiple cameras. I got it.
Actually, what you just did, can you do that a little bit more? You shifted what, the screen or the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. Now we see there.
It's just I was using a different camera. Sorry.
No problem. Now we see Marianne Kelly. And it was worth the wait. You know why, folks? You got your cocktail. You're going to need one after this, Marianne.
I do.
Usually we wait till later to have it, but after what you just went through, let's have some now. Cheers.
Okay. Cheers.
Bring it up close. Clang. There you go. Bing. And this is like, okay. Here I am. I'll wait for you.
Okay.
All right. What do you got in that huge glass? I have some
well,
Oregon.
You said to bring a really big drink.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. So this is ginger tea with lemon and mint, and it's delicious, and it's wonderful for digestion, and it's a very nice summer light drink.
It's very hard to look at the camera because you want to look at the screen, right?
I know. Okay, so I will look at the camera.
So the ultimate scenario, a little tip for anybody doing it, is to try to have your camera just above your screen. So you can sort of look at the camera, look at the screen, look at the camera. But if you have the screen like all the way to the right or all the way to the left, you're going to want to look at the person you're talking to because that's a natural thing to do. But your camera is on the other side. A lot of people do that. So if I'm looking at you, supposedly, I have to look here. Well, actually, yeah, if I'm looking at the camera, straight on to everybody. But if I want to actually see you, I have to look there, which is you on the screen. It's interesting how they did it, but cheers and toast to you.
Thanks for your patience. Here we are.
Worth the wait. And the reason why I say worth the wait for all of our viewers is she is our viewer of the week. We are celebrating Marianne Kelly on the Jim Masters Show Live. You are our official, again, Price and Waterhouse officiated. And we had our survey and everybody said Marianne Kelly on a Saturday night, a fun Saturday night with, of course, our George Burns here, who's our sidekick. We like to have fun with George Burns. He says hello to Marianne. He's very happy.
Hello,
he nods
George.
to you. And Jeannie is here with the bottle, and we have all the regulars. We've got Silver here, of course. You know, if I don't bring these cast characters out, people are like, well, where are the cast of characters? So Silver is here. Beautiful K9 we picked up on a TV shoot in Europe. Silver is here. Got to put smiles on people's faces, right? We've had some rough couple of months lately, haven't we, that we've all dealt with in our society and in our world. And of course, Jimmy the Clown says hello. And Jeannie's still in her bottle. She just doesn't want to come out right now because the hair salons are still closed. And she's mad because she can't get her hair done and being quarantined in a bottle for 2 months. She's lost her powers. So she's stuck. How about you? Have you been able to get your hair done with all of this too? Are the salons open?
No. So, this is a longer hairdo for what I'm used to. But
looks great. Looks terrific.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, because I think the last time I saw you in the TV studio, it was shorter.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, looks terrific. Almost a little bit like the photo that you had sent me from a few years back where it was longer, which looked terrific as well. So
that was many years back, that other photo when I had really long.
So as always, to all the folks that are watching and commenting and sending their love here, we say, if I can fit it in there, we start the show a little Hollywood style with lights, camera, and action. Like to have fun here on the show. So how is your day going, our viewer of the week?
My day's going great. I did a couple of readings. As Jim, as I know you're aware, I'm a medium and I also do energy work. So I did a couple of readings today for some clients. And I did some energy work with them as far as EFT, emotional freedom tapping, and also scalar wave.
That's terrific. That is great. So, are you doing it all remotely over, Zoom
Yeah.
and other technology right now?
Yes, I'm doing everything using Zoom because of the quarantine. But actually, even if we didn't have the quarantine, a lot of my clients are from different places around the world. So I've been using Zoom for my work for quite a while now.
Oh, that's terrific. That's terrific. So, I want to tell people a little bit about you as we welcome you to the show, because you are somebody that is, you've got an extraordinary background. You're a medium. You, of course, own Intuitive Services Insight. As I mentioned, we actually met through the radio shows that I hosted, and then we did a television interview together as well.
Yes.
Marianne Kelly is extraordinary. Her story is really fascinating and inspiring, and we'll share some of that with our audience tonight. Her evolution as an empowered woman began with a chance complimentary ballroom dance lesson. She has spent 33 years in the corporate world and wanted to do something else. She didn't want to put off things she wanted to try any longer because she was always working 80-hour weeks. So one of the things she wanted to try was running her own small business as a consultant, leveraging 3 decades of her experience in multiple areas of expertise. And she also thought she would like to try ballroom dancing. So what happened next was nothing Marianne could have expected. The more she did ballroom dancing, the more her intuition began to actually develop. She was used to multitasking, of course, as a way of life that became normal for her. However, with ballroom dancing, she had to completely commit her full attention and really concentrate on each step and what she was doing. And suddenly her intuition exploded. Once immersed in meetings and metrics, Marianne could now understand how the universal principles of metaphysics and energy and intuition allow communications with those who've passed over, including people or, pets. Marianne made a complete shift to follow her intuition in search of answers. Now, today, she's the founder of Intuitive Services Insight, where she provides mediumship and mentorship and speaking services. And to represent the types of services and modalities that are intrinsically linked to intuition, Intuitive Services Insight is a center of energy excellence. We'll talk about what all that is in a moment, offering services such as past life regressions, emotional freedom tapping, EFT, scalar wave, and so much more. And her clients are people and pets as well. A little chronology here. Clinical, corporate, medium, mentor, author, speaker, energy worker. We met in 2009 when I was doing radio interviews on Close Up Radio, and then she came to our television studio, and we did a television video interview as well, which was terrific. We really enjoyed that. We had a great time. We even did a Skype with one of your clients, and then we had some other testimonials come in. Complimentary ballroom dance lesson, catalyst for the most unexpected. Second act, dramatic career change. Medium, mentor, author, speaker, energy worker, competitive ballroom dancer, charity supporter, which is a beautiful thing as well. She worked with Dr. Stephanie Yellen, University of Pennsylvania Sports Medicine, Penn Cares Grants, and Eugene LaPierre, founder of Ballroom Dancing for a Better You charity, serving those with special needs, which is a beautiful thing. She says ballroom dancing fuels. I should have had you put a ballroom gown on and you could show us some live.
Should have.
But in that little area there, it would be kind of tight to do a spin, right?
It would.
Ballroom dancing fuels your energy work and supports a wonderful charity. Never thought you'd be doing a Viennese waltz in a ballroom dance competition, but you certainly did. And your story, chapter 13, Thunder of Intuition and Your Shift Matters, Surviving to Thriving. I want to show some photos here for our audience. Good to welcome everybody tonight. A very special guest is our viewer of the week, somebody who's been following along the Jim Masters Show live ever since we started going on almost 5 weeks ago. It's hard to believe. Here are some really cool pictures here to show you guys that we've sort of assembled today that Marianne had sent along. This is that picture I was talking about earlier, Marianne.
That's from my clinical days.
Yeah, that's a nice one there, huh?
Yeah, that's back from 1981.
And here's another great one here too.
That's from my corporate days and the 33 years in the corporate world.
33 years in the corporate world. Here's another great shot as well.
Right, and that's what goes along with my website. So that was taken to represent what I do now.
Center of
That's
Energy
the logo,
Excellence.
my logo for Center of Energy Excellence. Yes.
Here's when we were doing the television shoot at the TV studio for Close-Up Television and Radio. That's a great shot of us together. We were sort of in mid-sentence there as we were actually filming that television video interview. That was really cool. And then here's another shot. Is the ballroom dancing. That's a beautiful shot of you there. Is this a professional photo, or is this during an event, Marianne?
That was a professional photo that was taken as a result of events. Yes.
Very nice, very nice. This is a terrific shot here, Marianne. Really, really nice shot of you here. Really, really terrific.
Yeah, so it's really been a very surprising and wonderful blessing in my life that led to the opening up of my second career act.
Yeah, see, that's, again, you just never know what happens in life. Some of the things that happen that take us to different directions in our lives, you just never know. Who are the fine folks in this picture?
So the physician in the center is who you mentioned just a couple minutes ago. So that's Dr. Stephanie Yellen, and she helps keep me in great shape. She's with the University of Pennsylvania, sports medicine in my neighborhood. And again, she keeps me in great shape to do all the competing and ballroom dancing that I'd like to do. And the gentleman in the picture is Eugene LaPierre, and he is the founder of the charity that we briefly mentioned, Ballroom Dancing for a Better You, which serves people with all kinds of disabilities, mental disabilities, physical disabilities, social. And he's also one of my teachers as well. And he has the local ballroom, and he also is a teacher of ballroom dance at our local university, Rowan University. So he serves many roles in the community, and he's one of my fantastic teachers.
Oh, that's cool. That's really nice. So we have a few more photos here as we celebrate you as viewer of the week, which again, we're so happy to celebrate with you here, Marianne. Here's another great shot. And here we go.
So the other, Eugene LaPierre is the one gentleman that was in the other picture with Dr. Yellen. And so the additional gentleman in this picture is Jonathan Cabrera. So he is my other teacher. So I dance with both of these gentlemen when I compete. And so, of course, I take lessons from both of them as well. And it's just been an amazing opportunity, and I would highly suggest that if anyone has never tried it, that they should. I never had a dance lesson in my life. I was never on a sports team. I'm from a humble background, so those types of things weren't necessarily immediately available. And I spent a lot of time essentially working a lot. And I just decided as I hit 55 or so that I went over my bucket list and decided, I would like to just try that ballroom dance activity. And I thought I would take one lesson, a complimentary lesson, and then that would be it. But I took a complimentary lesson and I just fell in love. And from that moment forward, I dance 6 days a week. And when the quarantine begins to lift, I'm looking forward to getting back into the studio. And I just have completely loved it.
This is a spectacular shot of you. Really, really terrific. Look at the way that you have the dress pulled up. I mean, it really is. That's a great, great shot. And you know what? Some of the comments, and I'll go back in the comments, and feel free to share comments with us, folks, as well. We'll show them on screen. You look so happy in these photos. So, some of the folks have been commenting. They love the pictures. They're very beautiful. But you look so happy in these photos, Marianne.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't have to work at that part at all. I have to work at the dance part with great joy. But the happiness comes from within. From the moment I wake up in the morning to the moment I fall asleep, I always look forward to dance. And these two gentlemen are truly some of the best people on the planet, as not only dancers, but as people as well. So it's really quite a joyful experience.
So for those who have never taken ballroom dancing, what do they need to know? As somebody who's taken it, who's become expert at it, What are some of the, maybe they've always wanted to, they've played with it, they've toyed with it, they've watched it on television, they love watching it. Maybe they see Dancing with the Stars and sometimes they get a little, when they do ballroom, they get excited. What are some of the first things that somebody that wants to take ballroom lessons, ballroom dancing lessons, they should know? Maybe tips that you can give them having been going through it.
Sure. So I think the biggest thing that I would suggest is to be present in the moment, because you really do have to commit to each step. If you try to think too far ahead, then you're going to miss the joy of that particular step. And also, if you are in the past, as far as, gee, I didn't do that quite as well as I would have liked, then you'll also miss that present moment. And it might sound cliche, but that truly is the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things that I would recommend as far as keeping in mind. It really is an activity that it not only allows you to be fully present, it rather kind of demands that you be fully present. And that's really a gift in life. And it was that ability for me to learn how to be fully present and still in the moment, especially since I needed to wait for the lead from the gentleman. And I had been so used to being the leader in my career that was a bit of a change for me. But when I became present in that moment, to not only understand the energy that I was getting from the instructor as far as what movement to do next for a dance, that's when all these other messages started coming in full force, which then opened the door to my leaving the corporate world and going into the mediumship kind of work. So not only has it become a joyful activity in my life, ballroom dance, but it's an energy that fuels me in the newer work that I do as well.
That's terrific. That's terrific. And the energy, like you say, that you receive from doing the ballroom carries over so beautifully to the work that you already do. When did you decide to sort of wrap up, the 33 years of the heavy duty corporate work to be able to really focus on some of the other true loves and passions that you've always had, Marianne?
So 5 years ago, which corresponds with when I first started ballroom dancing, when all the messages kept coming in at such a rapid pace, and I realized that I needed to further investigate this. I had been, as you know from our past work together, Jim, truly a skeptic of this because I just thought it was a cliche or it was a nice idea. But I'm very much a hard data, facts kind of person. I had spent, over 3 decades of my life in IT and in finance and financial services, et cetera. And that's really about hard data. And so this concept of being still and using energy, it just really kind of sounded out there and wasn't something that I really gave a lot of thought about. But as I kept getting more information via a different means, by the means of messages or energy, I realized that there really was something to this. And then I decided I really had to check it out because the information that I was getting as I was looking into it further, it was a means of being able to be helpful to others in different ways that I never could have imagined, in terms of helping people connect with loved ones crossed over, in terms of past life regressions, in terms of holistic health, in that I would sometimes come across information that was associated with an anomaly about what someone was feeling. And then that was information that they could use to open the door to further their conversations with other professionals that are part of their healthcare plan to see what else could be further investigated that might further their care, their feeling better, alleviate suffering, etc. So that's really why I had to make that hard decision. And it was a hard decision because I had spent 33 years of my life building a very good foundation in the corporate world. But I felt that I was being called to do something different, and I was called to do something that was intended to make a more profound or powerful impact to individuals, perhaps in a very different way. So it was a challenge for me. It involved a lot of trust, and I took the leap.
That's fantastic. And no looking back, it was a great decision for you, wasn't it?
It was the best decision I could have made in the type of work that I do. I would say that the absolute best decision was the choice that I made in marrying my husband. And then following along that, I would say that the next two decisions that go hand in hand as far as in my life would be the combination of my new work with the fact that ballroom dancing has opened up so many other delightful doors for me in terms of having an activity that I absolutely love that has put me in the best shape probably since high school, and has also opened other doors in working with Jean LaPierre and with Jonathan in terms of dance, and then working as well with Jean's charity and with Penn Cares and Dr. Stephanie Yellen from University of Pennsylvania. So it's just been a wonderful experience.
We have Kathleen Walker saying, hi, Jim. Hi, Marianne. Hi, everyone. Kathleen also is saying, very nice pics. And Ralph Lampkins says, hello, all. Interesting. We say hello to everybody. And Christine Fairwood has a question regarding to some of your work. She says, it's interesting. Do you contact departed relatives?
Yes, I do.
So for folks who are watching for the very first time, tell us a little bit about it. If maybe they've been skeptical, or they've just, touched, sort of put one foot into the water a little bit, just tested it a little bit, but they've never really followed through on this kind of work.
Sure. And again, I certainly completely respect skeptics because I was one. So I'll be happy to say a few words about how that works. So if you think of when you call somebody on the telephone or you use an email address, then that's how you're identifying that person. You're calling them up because that phone number is specific to them or their email address is specific to them. So in a similar way, I connect with that deceased loved one's energy, which is specific to them. And I know that sounds very bizarre, and I understand it sounds very bizarre, but that is truly how it works. So when I get in a quiet place, then meaning I quiet my mind in that I'm only trying to connect with whichever loved ones are associated with my client at that particular moment. And then messages start to come, or it could be pictures or symbols or phrases. And then I relay that information to the client. They often find it very, very helpful in terms of the information that has come through. So it's like watching vignettes, or for me, it's like watching a story unfold. Now, I will tell you that I may not understand the meaning behind everything that I'm seeing or hearing at that particular time. But as I relay what I'm hearing or seeing to the client, very often the client does get the significance of that. For example, I was doing a reading the other day for a client that very much missed their parents that had crossed over. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I was shown was a very specific pendant. It had a blue center. It had a yellow gold setting that was square shaped. And as I was describing that, she said, "Oh yes, I know that particular pin." And then the next thing that I was shown was pretty much an outline of a younger girl with long hair and the indication that a wedding was coming up. And so as I'm describing that, the client says, "Oh yeah, my daughter is getting married. That's her." And I said, "Well, what your mother is telling me is that she wants that pin to go to your daughter as a wedding gift. And it can represent the something old and also the something blue in there." And so I didn't know this woman before at all. It was a request for a reading, and how specific this pin was amazing. And she was kind enough when she had left the session with me to actually send me a picture that she took of the pin. That was, so much in terms of detail matching what I had been given as far as the message and describing. And then the other thing that came through that was very comforting to her brother was I got a message from her father saying, did your father wear a pinky ring, yellow gold, with big chunky cut initials on the top, as opposed to the fine, flat engraving? And she said, yes, he did wear a gold pinky ring. And so, long story short, that ring ended up being very symbolic for her brother, who actually had that ring. So the point of being very specific is that, number one, it gives credence to the fact that I have connected with indeed their specific loved ones, or else there's no way I would have that detail, because I don't know these people. I certainly wouldn't know about a specific ring, a specific pin, whatever. And it then offered then further messages of comfort to help with closure.
What, is there any one or two scenarios where you've been working with somebody, a client in this sort of environment that you're describing, Marianne, that really stand out for you, that actually almost moved you as much as it moved them?
Yes. When I am asked to try to connect with, say, a child has committed suicide, and that, of course, is so tragic, and those parents are just devastated, and the guilt that they feel is just overwhelming. And when I'm able to connect, say, with that child, who then explains what was going on in their mind at the time, which oftentimes does not have anything to do with the parents not trying their best to support that child, it's very moving in, number one, the parents, with the detail that's being relayed, they know that I've connected with this one young gentleman that I was able to connect with. I was describing to the parents, here's the detail in this child's bedroom that he's telling me. And the reason why he's telling me this detail, again, is to reassure the parents that I've connected with him. And so that was established at first. And then when the child was explaining to me what was going on that drove him to take such a severe, action, and he explained other details that offered such comfort to those parents, certainly their grief remained. But what I could feel and what they could feel is the guilt lifting off of them, because the child was so articulate in being able to explain what was going on that they truly had no way of either knowing or, in this particular situation, preventing. Mm-hmm. So at least they were able to get relief from that guilt, which is such a heavy burden.
Mm. That is, I could see how that would be, and sort of long lasting in many ways. There's a couple of great comments that have come in here that I wanted to share with you as well. Karen Levitt, great show. Love your zest for life, Marianne. And coincidentally, I interviewed just about 2 weeks ago, Karen Levitt, on the radio as well. She's a life coach up in New Hampshire, an avid fan of the show. You've probably seen her comment on the Jim Master Show Live as well. And she also has a question. She says, Marianne, when you first knew of this gift, ability to connect with those who have crossed over, what was that like for you? And that is an interesting question, because were you, and I think I asked this of you when we went to dinner before our television interview, the television video interview for Close Up Television. I had asked, were you scared? Were you fearful? Were you nervous of the understanding of the intuitive nature of this, the power of this, the sensations of it all? Did it surprise you, irk you? What were some of those sensations that you experienced when you realized you had this gift?
So I'll just, two things. One is that I know in our society that people often refer to this type of work as, oh, this person has a gift. And I just want to say that I don't believe it's really a gift. I believe it is something we all have access to. I believe that I was able to make a change to dedicate understanding it more, to basically learn this language. I call it the language of energy. So I just want to say that I do believe that it's not special to me, that it's something we all
have the ability.
So I just want to say that. Now, when I first started to get more and more messages, and I was certainly wanting to find a very good mentor to understand this, because there are skeptics out there, and like in any also in any profession, there are people out there that may not necessarily be the best representation of the work. So
like somebody that has a little stand with a fold-out chair and says for $2 you can have your entire life read in your hand or something.
So I just, wanted to make sure that, because the integrity of my work in anything that I've done has been very, very important to me, whether that was in my clinical roles or my corporate roles or then in this, and especially in this role, because it's involving giving people information that can impact them so severely, and severely in a good way, or severely in a good way, and it can lead to other information that can help them in health issues. But back to the question, because I was wanting to understand that more, I found an excellent mentor. And as I went to him for initial readings and things, and he said to me, you can do this, right? And I was like, what do you mean? And so he said, well, do you want to see? And I said, sure. And so he put 3 pictures in front of me, and I had never seen these pictures of these individuals before at all. And there was nothing special about these pictures. These are just snapshots. There's nothing special about what the people were wearing. There's nothing special about the surroundings or the background. And so he put the one down, and I looked at it, and it was a gentleman that was, say, from my parents' generation. That was from the age of the individual in the photo. And then all of a sudden, this information started to come, and I said, this gentleman was in World War II. He fixed he fixed engines of planes on aircraft carriers. He had 2 marriages. He died of respiratory failure in Florida. And as I'm saying this, I'm also partly saying to myself, who's speaking? Because I don't really know where this information is coming from. And then I realized I'm speaking, but the information is not being generated by me. I'm relaying it as it's coming in, but I didn't really generate it, that's for sure. And so when I said those things, the gentleman that's my mentor said, you're absolutely right. And I know you're right, because that happens to be a picture of my father-in-law. And so I'm rather stunned. So then we went to the second picture, and the second picture was just, again, a headshot of a man. And so I said, this gentleman didn't have a lot of self-confidence, but he had a lot of talent, and he had a lot of compassion, and he taught children a specialized subject, but he taught them out of his home. And I said, his home is that he is showing me is a 2-story home, and it has a staircase that actually is also outside, that you could go up and down outside to get to the second floor. And I said, unfortunately, he had a rather tragic death involving an automobile right outside of his home. And I said he didn't really pursue as much of higher education as he probably could have because of his confidence. And so he said, well, you're right, that's my uncle. And he did teach children a specialized subject out of his home. He taught them music lessons. So that was, again, stunning to me. And then the third picture was of a younger person. And I said, I'm not sure if this person's passed over or not. I said, he's battling some demons with some addictions. And he said, you're right. And the reason why it's a little tough for you to distinguish as far as whether or not this particular person is here or passed over is because he's in a coma. And kind of in and out. So when that happened, I was absolutely shocked, because I didn't know these people, but yet this information was coming in. So that's really what also led me to further investigate, how does this work, this language of energy? I learned Spanish in high school and college, but this is a whole different ballgame. And so I just had to dive into it. And that's really what happened. And then I worked with mentors until I felt that my skill was proficient to the point of being helpful to others.
Which is a beautiful thing. We have some more comments coming in as well. Just want to remind folks, Marianne Kelly, who's actually someone I interviewed for a television video segment, and we've done multiple radio shows together with Close Up Television, Close Up Radio in New York. That's how we found each other. And she's been an avid fan of the Jim Masters Show live, and I really appreciate that, Marianne. It was so surprising when I saw you first pop on that night. I'm like, Marianne Kelly's here? That was terrific. It's a joy to have you here every night and enjoy all the fun segments and everything we do. She is our viewer of the week. We're saluting Marianne Kelly here on the Jim Masters Show live. And I like to do that. That's something that I like to inspire people. I like to empower people. I like to have fun. I like to lighten the load. And I think, considering this series, the Jim Masters Show live, which is something that so many people have wanted me to build and create for so many years, but I've been so busy with all my professional work in television and radio and stage and everywhere else that I never had the time. But now, because of everything going on, I've had the time, and we've built this following around the world of people who've been following the series and sharing the links and having watch parties and all the guests that want to come on. It's just been a true blessing. So I also believe in giving back. So the folks who watch the show, and they enjoy the show, and they do comments, and they just tell me how much they're really enjoying the flavor and the feeling and the vibe that the show has, because every episode is something different and unique. Try to keep it fresh, has really moved me. So I came up a couple of weeks ago with Viewer of the Week. I wanted to celebrate those who are watching the show on a regular basis and who really care enough to share and tell others. And here's another great comment that's come in here. Tom Olson said that he's a client, and you were able to relieve many unresolved questions after his wife passed. It lifted a tremendous weight off his shoulders. You're amazing. And Ralph Lampkin Jr. says, very interesting, Jim. Marianne sounds totally truthful. That's terrific. Is there a website?
Yes. So my website is intuitiveservicesinsight, all one word, .com.
That's terrific. June Rachelson Aspa, who's a dear friend. She's a playwright, a lyricist, phenomenal friend. She is saying hello to us as well. She lives in New York City, in Manhattan. Thank you, June. Love you, June. Good dear friend. And Christine Fairwood says she's a great guest. She's our Viewer of the Week. And I am fascinated, she says. I think we all are. She's fascinated by the conversation and what you're sharing with us, Christine Fairwood, is of you, Marianne. So that's wonderful, huh? That's terrific.
Well, it's been quite a journey,
hasn't it? So you've been a fan of this show for quite some time, and this is different, of course, than what we normally would have done professionally with the television and radio shows. What are some of the things that you enjoy about this show that brings you back each time to tune in and to absorb what we're doing and savor what we're doing as well, Marianne?
Well, and not surprisingly with you, Jim, it's the variety of the guests that you have and the integrity of those guests as well, in terms of what their passion is for their profession, and also their passion as well for giving back. So, and just also the range of the from the music world, from the Celtic violinist Nesbitt.
Mairead Nesbitt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Right.
And you have the humorists on as well. I do like the fact, which doesn't surprise me about you, Jim, that you give back to others in the community, and I think that's great. So you can tune into your show, and again, it's a different genre in terms of whether it's music, whether it's humor, whether it's how to be a producer, whether it's giving back to people that have helped you, Jim, in your career on your way up the ladder. It's giving back to your viewers. And so I think the authenticity of every person that you've had on has been something that impressed me. And it's also really a fun way to learn. And the fact that you have the interactive chat as well. So now I have, some other people that I can chat with that have continued to chat with me offline, after the show is over. So it's been a win-win from all aspects.
And even when we don't have the guests, because we didn't start with guests, I just started bringing guests along, calling upon people that I've known for years. And now we're booked all the way into the end of June. Once people heard about the show, everybody's like, I've got this big schedule. I'm trying to move this one here, and this one's available that day, and this one can come in on that day, and this one, it's really amazing. It's like putting a puzzle piece together, but it's fascinating. I'm enjoying doing that part of the executive producing part.
And then the scenic tours, and then you take us on tour.
Right. With the Masters Mantras, doing the scenic tours as well. And you and I think we sort of realized too that upon our meeting and that great dinner that we had, that we are kindred spirits in many ways, and just in terms of the way we think about the world, the way we think about people, and how we sort of operate, right? I know that's been something.
We thought we were going to have a 45-minute to hour dinner the night before the video that I was up to Connecticut to shoot with you. And we ended up closing the restaurant because we were there for 4.5 hours or something, but it just seemed like a we went from topic to topic to topic. And that's, to your credit, Jim, as far as being so well-rounded, as far as being able to chat about anything.
And then I think we had lunch after the shoot too at the diner.
We did.
And then we did another hour in the parking lot.
We did. We did indeed. So we're covering all the food genres as well.
Yeah. So I'm very happy that you're you are a fan of my work as much as you are, this show here, the Jim Masters Show Live, because I know you've shared publicly some beautiful comments that have really touched me. And I really, truly, I know you're very busy, Marianne, and for you to take the time to do that really means a great deal to me.
My pleasure. Happy to do it. And Jim, you take so much time in preparing your work. When we met for dinner, I was just so impressed at how you knew all the detail that was available about me that was relevant to that show, and with no notes, and you could recount pretty much my life chapter and verse. That I was impressed that you took that dedicated time to do that. And of course, it made me all the more comfortable walking into a live video shoot that he knows my background and he's got it, and you did. And so it just makes it all the more fun.
So with the situation we've been going through, I've been asking some of the guests, and again, you're a guest, but you're also the Jim Masters Show Live Viewer of the Week. So that's a real high honor. And again, we toast to you, Marianne. And
all right, well, I'm going to toast again.
Yeah, that toast. Have another swig. That's right. Have another swig. People always ask, this is a light Oregon, depends on what side of the river you're on. Oregon, little light rosé, just a little light rosé for a nice Saturday evening, something refreshing. Although the glass looks lower, I think George Burns has been sipping at it a little bit. You never know. You got to watch George. He could be feisty. So how have you been pivoting? A lot of people I've been talking to, we've been talking about how people are pivoting and adjusting and sort of going with the tide and some of the new things that are happening. How have you been pivoting and sort of jockeying around some of the stuff we've been going through? Obviously, we've been dealing with a pandemic and economic situation and a lot of unrest that's happening even this week. There's a lot of things happening in this world at once. One thing that I haven't talked to you about that I have with some of the guests, and not even the guests, just in regular conversation with family and friends, is I think that what we're going through right now with all of the things that have happened and touched our lives in so many ways that are incredible, is sort of a reset. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, I was actually talking to Alice Asmar earlier. She's the one
you got the Telly Award for that, right?
She had called and she left this beautiful message, and then I called her back, and she said, I think that, she's 91 and she's pretty much held up in her house in Burbank, California. And she's the one that, we did the documentary on, where we won the Telly Award this week. And she had said she thinks that this is a bit of a reset because she's very spiritual. She said, God and the earth were not happy with us, the way we were treating each other, the way we were treating the planet, the way we were handling nature, the road we were going down as far as treating each other. And in a way, I mean, if you do look at it deeply, it does seem like it's a reset in a couple of ways. It's a shifting of mindset, maybe, where maybe we should be kinder, more empathetic, more caring, more respectful. We were already social distancing before we even had to social distance, because we had our heads in our cell phones. Everybody was concerned what everybody else is doing on social media and all the buzz and all the bling. A lot of stuff that's nonsensical, that doesn't have a lot of support and foundation to it. And that everybody was complaining about the road rage, and nobody's saying, please, thank you, you're welcome. And there's no empathy. Where's all the empathy? And things were nicer yesterday than they are today. And then boom, this whole global situation happens, like the Depression in a way. It sort of equalizes things and affects every aspect of everything. And it seems like there's opportunities now to pause and say, hey, Do we come out of this? I know we're concerned about the economic, that's huge. The health, all of that is huge. But as people, I mean, we're going through some real unrest right now that we're seeing witnessed on television nightly. And it's a tough situation. But individually, perhaps maybe there are things we can do to step up to the plate and pause and say, you know what? It's time to be kinder, time to be, and not be Pollyanna about it, but be kinder, friendlier, more respectful. Listen, think of the other person as well as ourselves. Innovate, create. You know, out of times like this, there's extraordinary innovation. There's creation, there's entrepreneurship. So we might find this time right now that we've been dealing with in 2020, this unbelievable year of 2020, this new decade, which has not started off so great, as a way to rise from the ashes in a more beautiful and deeper way. Wouldn't you say? It's like a reset, isn't it?
It is. It is a reset in terms of identifying, when we're back to one of the life lesson about Ballroom we're dancing, about being present and being quiet. And I think that this pandemic also has forced us to take that time to be quiet and to be present and to reevaluate what is really and who is really important in our lives and why. And I think that what are the roles that everybody plays in your life? Certainly prior to this, we may have all taken for granted the people that are on the front lines in terms of stocking the shelves at our supermarkets, all the people on the front lines in so many different roles that are involved in healthcare, et cetera. The people that are making the masks, et cetera. So I think it really has been a reset for each one of us. And I think that if we can take it as an opportunity to see how we can identify skills that we may not have been aware of that we have, or resurrect skills, or like you said, pivot and find other skills, then we can come out of it better than we were before, not only as people, but in addition to that, as far as the roles that we can play and other means to perhaps generate an income. So a couple of things in terms of when I work with people that are concerned about how am I going to make a living now. So before I was doing coaching anyway, combining the decades that I had in the corporate world where I did coaching all the time, with my teams as they were progressing through the ranks or the positions during up through career paths in that environment. And so I still do that type of career coaching as now, but now I have this other element in terms of me being a medium. I can often perceive some other concerns or issues or on the upside attributes of that person that might be handy for them to apply as they're looking for other ways to apply skills. So that's one way. The other thing that can happen, I think that, and I've seen it happen here in this situation, is that when people have had a set of things that they might have been concerned about or that have been bothering them, and that bothering may have manifested as far as things that they're running in their minds, or could manifest as far as a physical, pain in their leg or whatever, that now COVID has come along and that's accentuated that. And the label that our society has put on this particular set of manifestations that I'm referring to now is complex PTSD. Most of us have heard of PTSD more associated with the folks that have certainly done great service to us in the military. Another version of that, if you will, is complex PTSD, which can happen to someone after decades of experiencing trauma. And that trauma can take the form of a variety of situations that they may not have even realized. But then COVID came along, and then they're not sure why they're especially anxious outside of COVID. And what's happened is that COVID was pretty much a catalyst to surface some other things that have been underlying. So in terms of answering your question, yes, I see it as a reset for us globally. To, on the upside, identify some potential additional skills that we may have, or new ways to do our work, or additional work we can do. And then other things have surfaced that, while may not be desired, as far as I don't really want to feel this manifestation, but since I am feeling it, then let's do something about it. And let's see if we can get rid of it, get rid of the root cause, so that other things that may happen to them in their life won't serve as a catalyst to resurface that pain again, whether that pain be emotional or physical.
It's really, yeah, there's so many variables and so many things. It's affected people in so many deep and extraordinary ways, and long-lasting ways for many. I want to share a little bit more of some of the photos from the ballroom dancing too, as well. Here's another one. That's a great shot. Now tell us what's happening there, Marianne.
Back to Jean Lapierre's charity, Ballroom Dancing for a Better You. So he has some charity events or events that are actually hosted to fund or support the charity. And during those events, there are showcase numbers. So those of us that dance from the Lapierre Dance Studio have an opportunity to perform. And Jean and the other two gentlemen in the picture, Jonathan Cabrera, who I mentioned before, and Jason Flores, are other dancers, and they choreographed this number. So this is from the Marilyn Monroe movie Heat Wave, and certainly I don't look like Marilyn Monroe, and I certainly don't pretend to have her amazing talents and skills. But they choreographed this number, and Jean designed the costuming and everything as well. And again, I did this with them to help support an event that was put on to support Ballroom Dancing for a Better You. So that's what's going on in this.
How about this one here, Marianne?
Okay. So this again was another event to support Ballroom Dancing for a Better You, and Jonathan and I decided that it would be really fun if we did a spoof on the Roadrunner cartoon. So for those viewers that are, I guess I'll say, of my generation or perhaps a little older as well, would remember the Roadrunner a cartoon.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And then Jonathan thought this was a perfect idea. Actually, it was his idea because I am pretty much known for having a very high energy level. So we said, we have to think of a theme that's going to be really suited for your personality. So he thought of the Roadrunner, and or I should say, he actually choreographed it into a quick step, which is a type of ballroom dance, and we performed it. So, and it has a little, humor to it as well, which makes it all the more entertaining for the widely diverse demographics that come to these events. Because we do have people there with special needs, and we also that are special needs from a variety of capacities, and also people bring their children. So we're looking for something that we can do that will be entertaining for everyone.
That's terrific. That's wonderful. And let's see. This is fabulous. I will watch. That's terrific. Getting some great feedback here from so many people, Marianne, to what we're talking about in both categories of both sides of your extraordinary effort and work. Here's another great, what is this? This is beautiful.
So that's my logo for Intuitive Services Insight. And I picked that particular logo design because of the illustration of the different colors of the energy waves that are going through. And it's more than just the colors, because the different colors represent obviously different spectrums of energy, and that it's all inclusive as far as all the energies of the spectrum that are in the universe. And then from a demographics perspective, what I'm really also implying there is that energy work is applicable universally to all people around the globe. And I know I'm saying a lot that's has represented in a logo there, but that's really why I picked it.
Very, very beautiful. And then there's another shot here of something that was a labor of love. And I have my copy, and it's terrific. We showed it. We talked about it on the radio shows. We showed it on the television video, and that is the book as well. Tell us about the book.
Sure. So Dana Zarcone was putting together this book, an accumulation of chapters from people that had gone through a big shift in their lives. So she had asked myself, and actually Jean has a chapter in the book as well. And so that's why the title is Your Shift Matters, Surviving to Thriving, for those of us that have gone through big shifts. And so my chapter is The Thunder of Intuition. And basically I tell more about the story that I've been relaying on this show as far as what happened and how I made that leap and what the journey's been like and how unexpected the journey has been. And who would have thought that a ballroom dance lesson not only would have been the catalyst to start this all off, but also then serve as the fuel to continue to support my work and also a hobby that I love with amazing people that also serve the community. So that's how the book came out. Mm-hmm.
That's terrific. Yeah, that's a great book. I love the title. It represents just the essence of what you can expect. What was the writing process like for you? I know I asked this in the radio shows and television TV, but what was the writing process like for you, Marianne? When you're writing a book like that, was it hard to? This is a question. I'm a writer myself, and it's a question I usually ask a lot of people who become authors. Was it hard to write the first sentence, or harder to get started to write the first sentence, or to know when to finish the last line and put the period on the end of the last sentence?
So I think what I looked at that opportunity as is a way for me to develop an outline for my book. So because I was asked to do a chapter in that book, because it's a chapter, you're forced to, obviously respect the boundaries of the length. So as I wrote that chapter, the biggest thing I wanted to get across was how to make whatever I write meaningful so that it would resonate. And when I say resonate, I really want the reader to have a visceral reaction like a ooh or ah or like wow, so that they are not just reading, but they're experiencing what I experienced as far as the shock or the fun or what happened in that. So I was trying to encapsulate that in that chapter. And then I'm using that chapter as the high level outline for the book, the book that is going to be mine, that will tell more of the story and then more of the experiences. So I think that the biggest challenge for me was, again, how to keep it engaging, that the reader's going to want to stay involved in that chapter from that first sentence to that last sentence. Mm-hmm. And so the challenge was how to only focus on material that's really going to matter to the reader. So I used the old principle, what's in it for me, or why is this important? And if I couldn't answer that question at the end of each sentence or paragraph, then it was time to revise.
Do you see another book coming?
Yes. So as I said, Dana Zarcone was the one that compiled those stories from a variety of authors, myself and Jean being two of those authors. And yes, I am definitely in the process of writing my own book to see how I can further share my story and experiences that may help others, either one, make a career change that they never expected, or number two, to try this new world of energy because it may just be helpful to them. Because again, I was the skeptic, and maybe it will help someone else see that regardless of whether you work with me or someone else that's incredible in this type of work and field, it may truly be helpful to others to understand a bit more about it.
Absolutely. Karen says something that I think applies to, and I've got another, I think, photo here, but applies. I know you and I have talked about this. Comment that she's making here is something that you and I have talked about in regards to each other. And we identified this immediately when we did the radio shows and when we did the television video interview with Close Up Television, and the conversations, the subsequent conversations that we've had even post that, because we converse and we wish each other well and we support each other, even beyond the professional. And now here with the Jim Masters Show Live, and we're celebrating you and you celebrate the show, which is a wonderful symbiotic relationship. Karen says you're radiant, doing what you love. And that's something that both of us, I've been told the same, and you've seen it in me and I've seen it in you too, how we radiate the essence of what we absolutely love as a communicator, as a broadcaster, as a trained television radio person, and all the rest. I'm doing exactly what I love, what I'm meant to do, because I'm a communicator. I love to empower. I love to inspire. I love to lift. I love to, really, I care truly. And you do as well. And we recognize that in each other pretty quickly, didn't we, Marianne?
Yes. I will admit, Jim, I was reading you a bit, and yes, I picked up on that.
You got that whole Libra balance and harmony thing, right? That came
Yeah.
in quick. So you really are doing what you love, aren't you?
I am. And this is the happiest time of my life.
That's a
Doing things that I never ever would have anticipated.
That's a beautiful thing to say. And here's another. We were so consumed with the to-do lists, had access to go anywhere, see others, almost took it for granted. Now time to be considerate, mindful. You're either taking time, being in gratitude, or from fear and overwhelm. Very true, right? It is a time to really, you know, we've everything stopped for a while, so we all had to just pivot and socially distance and wear the masks and do all the things we have to do. But at the same time, everybody was complaining that it wasn't friendly and we were going in a wrong direction. Nobody was liked the way we were all headed. And are you finding that when you talk to people? I find it all the time, whether they're professionals and experts that I interview from all walks of life, or they're just somebody I talk to 6 foot away with a mask on in a supermarket. Same thing, or talk to family and friends on the phone. They all feel the same way, that it's time for some change, positive change. I don't hope we go back to normal. I hope we go to better.
Right. Absolutely. I hope we all come out of our COVID cocoons, as I refer to it, all the better. And I think that what we're seeing is that there is a way to leverage, say, technology. In this case, I mean this ability here where we can see each other or Zoom or Skype or
That's
whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, let's not lose sight of the human element as well. And I think that because everyone has had to pivot to try to find other ways to do their work and to use technology, but we're really being hit in the face with why the human element is still so important. And this is when other heroes, the everyday heroes that are out there are illuminated. And it's a lesson for us all to appreciate each other and to appreciate those in our everyday lives that previously were actually quite invisible to us, and they shouldn't have been, but they were. And I hope that everyone now, including myself for sure,
Everybody, right?
Everyone is more aware of all the people on the front lines that you may not even see that are responsible for us surviving and getting our groceries, etc., in all sorts of ways, being able to handle our healthcare issues, still having the electricity run, still having the water run. All those people who are not able to do their work from home using technology, and all the people that are still struggling, and how can the community come together to help them? I mean, Jean Lapierre had to close the studio because his primary work is to teach ballroom dance, and obviously with the situation he had to stop doing that. But like many people, he immediately pivoted and had classes online digitally, and even also is to the degree in which his special needs students can participate, can do something. He does something digitally to serve the members of the special needs group that he works with through his nonprofit. So it's just amazing to see how creative we can all be in using our human elements, the brains that we were blessed with, and not everything necessarily will come out of your smartphone. Don't forget, there's a reason that we have the best creative processes that should be accessed.
Exactly right. We have come to a point where we depend on the technology and the smartphone sometimes even more than we should, when maybe we should just try to figure the thing out, or we should, it's great for time, saving time and speed and quickness. It's fantastic. But also at the same time, it can erase, even for kids, if all they do is just press a button and everything is done. They lose the creativity, the imagination. Some people have said creativity in terms of daydreaming. People don't have time to even daydream anymore. And daydreaming is actually very creative. And when you daydream, or you're fantasizing, or you're just, thinking about things, some of the most creative things come out of those times. So we don't want to shut down the capability and ability to daydream, fantasize. Because a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, there's no time for daydreaming. Oh, that's Pollyanna. That's nonsense. That's just that's Hollywood stuff. Everything daydreaming and all of that." But I'll never stop daydreaming, fantasizing, or creating, because I think if everybody stopped doing that, this world would be a dull and dry and boring and cold place, heartless place.
Yeah, and when our mind isn't running at a million miles an hour, and again, I can say that I was so guilty of that for so much of my life, so guilty of that. But when our mind is quiet, it is truly amazing how much other information will come in that can be not only delightful, but can be inspiring, and it can be practical as well. I mean, who knew when I became quiet to wait for the lead in a ballroom dance lesson that I was going to get other information as well. But putting that aside,
Right.
when I mentor people and say, let's just get quiet for a moment. And again, I'm a really practical person. I have, from a humble background, so I'm very much into how can I provide value and benefit to my client in something that they can apply right away. And when I ask them to be quiet and ask them what comes in, and then we just for a few moments, and then we see what does come in and what did surface, it often then opens up a conversation that would not have happened if they hadn't gotten quiet for just those few seconds.
Right. Here's a perfect representation for me of what I'm generally talking about as well. And I know I think you've probably seen this already, but for me, that would be a moment for me of sort of Zen. I'm called to the ocean, to the coast. I've always been somebody who's very retrospective. I do take time to remember, to celebrate, to pause, to breathe, to smell the coffee as well as drink it, smell the roses as well as enjoy them and plant them. But when I'm near the ocean like this, for me, there's something about the power and the strength of the ocean. The ocean feeds life, fosters life, but also at the same time, it has a rhythm. It has the tide. The sun rises out of it. The sun sets into it. It's a place of pleasure. It's also a place of peril and danger. So there is the risk involved. And I have great respect for the ocean as well. I totally give all power to the ocean, knowing that it's something greater than myself. So I have this relationship with the ocean. We sort of have this uncanny mutual respect for each other. When I surf it, boogie board it, walk it, swim it, just enjoy it as much as I do. And I'm called to it as my go-to place. There's something about the water and the sound of the tide and the sun setting and the glistening, all of that, all of visual. I'm a very visual person too. So this would be an image where I'm having one of those moments, just totally breathing deeply, from the diaphragm, and just relaxed. And as crazy as my world is with my career and all the running around I do and everything else, I take those moments to come to the ocean. Forest does that as well. Sometimes the excitement of the city. I'm somebody who absorbs everything. Whether you put me in a city, I'm looking up at the top of the skyscrapers. If you put me in the forest, I'm looking at the foliage and the trees. If you put me by the ocean, I'm in heaven, just because I grew up on the coast and it just really calls to me. And then, like I told you, when I went through Death Valley, that was a whole other world. That going through that Death Valley life-changing situation was. Are there areas and places that you go to, Marianne, that speak to you when you go out in nature or what have you?
Yes, so I as well really, I've always enjoyed the ocean as well. It's been a fascination of mine. I can spend hours just looking at the tide and the ocean because of all the reasons that you just said. And I find that when I'm exposed to those types of environments, or even now, I really can't just go to the beach, but I have my a little machine that I have in my office. Instead of using white noise, it's got the sound of the ocean. And I can use that as well if I close my eyes and picture the surf and try and emulate the smelling of the surf. But yes, so I would say for me as well, it's the ocean, and when the ocean's not available, I think that if I look out my window and just to see the birds come by and just think, wow, that's pretty amazing that we have cardinals that are appearing and we've never had cardinals before, or whatever it is that might get my attention that before wouldn't have gotten my attention when I was in my former careers, because I was just moving around too fast to not notice. And it's noticing what I call moments of intuition when we're quiet, or that first impulse that you get, the first thing that you see, to pay attention to it, because that's your gut feel. And when I'm exposed to my places in the elements of nature, that's when those types of messages or experiences can surface, and it's great.
Isn't it? Mm-hmm. So it's a weekend where it's hard to believe that June is upon us. I mean, we've lost a few months, it seems, in this year. What is your weekend like? What are some of the things you're doing this weekend, Mary Ann Kelly?
Well, because I work with clients globally, I am flexible with whenever they would like to have a reading, or as flexible as I can possibly be. So I will do readings at various times, which may be weird times for our time zone, but that doesn't matter. And the other thing that I do is I'm certainly watching dance videos or digital dance types of programs to try to at least intellectually keep my dance skills as polished as they can be given the situation. And I'm constantly also, especially on the weekends, reading or trying to understand the energy approach to trends that I'm seeing among my clients, which right now one of the trends that I'm seeing is that complex PTSD. And besides that, I certainly enjoy some time with my husband, who I'm fortunate to have a 30-year relationship with. So that's pretty much a mixture of my weekends.
We've got some more comments coming in here live on the Jim Masters Show Live. Karen Levitt asks, when you work with someone over the phone, do you use something like a doll or something to represent the individual that you're talking about or to?
No, I don't use a doll. What I really use their name and their voice if it's just phone, and if it's Zoom, obviously I have the visual. Occasionally I will ask for a picture, but that's more of an occasional thing. Just like when your loved one, say, by their voice on the phone, when I connect to a specific individual, it doesn't really matter to me where they are. So I don't really, I know some other practitioners do. And again, I have no judgment at all as far as how people use certain techniques to work. But no, I don't use a doll. What I do when I am scanning them, especially for holistic health readings, is that I will scan from head to toe in my mind, but I don't use a doll. I do know in some modalities, some practitioners may with Reiki or some other types, but I don't particularly use a doll.
And then let's see. Karen also says, bravo, may we emerge from COVID wiser. That's true. That's true. Christine Fairwood says, I take after my dad, can't be away from the coast. Nature really does provide something free and available. And I think that's another thing that's going to be coming out of this, is people are going to be more appreciative of the things that are around us. That don't cost anything, that there's no price tag attached. Everything, our society was so heck bent on take a look what I bought and look at the price tag and take a look at the car that I'm driving and the house that I have and the clothes that I have and what I paid for them as if that was going to make that person a better person. But there's so many things around that are free, like a conversation like we're having right now. Yeah. I mean, it costs nothing. It's just there and it's real, and there should be more of this. And I think I think there will be. As long as there's people out there who really care and who are empathetic and again, want to make the world a better place, and however we can in our respective fields, in our individual lives, and our collective lives. That's the thing. We have to realize that we all need each other. I mean, we are in our zones, but we all really need each other.
Absolutely.
Humans need the interaction. We crave interaction. Nobody wants to be alone. We want to have that interaction. That's very important, isn't it, Marianne?
Absolutely. And when I started to do this work, I understood all the more how connected we all are, whether we want to realize it or not. But we are indeed. And I think that the more that we can understand how much more we have in common, it will be all the better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything you're working on now? Any additional projects? Anything that you're doing other than being here on the Jim Master Show Live as our viewer of the week? We're going to toast again.
Okay.
You have anything left in that huge
glass? I do. I brought plenty.
I texted Marianne, because we text each other often, and I said, make sure you have a huge glass so we can toast. The room that you're in right now, is that your office? Is that a desk area? What's the room?
Yeah, so this is my office, and behind me is actually something that I had an opportunity years ago. My husband and I were in Italy, in Sorrento.
Very nice.
So this is inlaid wood, and it's a scene from Sorrento, Italy. And then I have a few other things here that just are inspiring. This one thing you probably can't see, but it says, because someone we love is in heaven, there's a bit of heaven in our home. And I have that here to represent my sister, Denise, who passed over at 55. And I feel her with me every day. But this is just something that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That reminds me of her. So yes, this is where I do my work out of. So it's my little quiet place here, and it has really served me quite well. Really
as we look, at your home, and there in your area there, I'm starting to get visions of Edward R. Murrow when he used to interview people, and we would be coming into their home. This is my home studio. I've been doing all of my work out of the house. As far as like TV shoots and all of that, they're really, since March, we haven't been doing anything with any of the various venues that I work for. And there are many hats that I wear, because the planes aren't flying and everything's been shut and everything.
Right.
So I've been doing pretty much everything with radio shows, voiceovers, narration of scripts, and these shows really out of the home studio. So I almost feel a little like Edward R. Murrow back in the days of CBS. We would come in. The only thing is, I'm not leaning back smoking 15 cigarettes at a time. I've got the rosé instead with George Burns and Jeannie and the rest of the gang.
A better choice.
A better choice. Where we come into the house, and there you are in your home, comfortable, and you have your comfortable surroundings. So. Are you a gardener too? Do you work out? I'm a gardener. I'm always working in the yard and planting and fertilizing.
Well, I have to say,
therapeutic.
I don't really have much of a green thumb, or at least not yet that I have found. So I'm not much of a gardener. I certainly appreciate the beauty of the gardens and things like that, but I can't say I've had a whole lot of success yet in that way. So
it requires a lot of patience too. What I love about it too, Marianne, is the fact that you're nurturing, you're helping something grow. It's almost like a child. You're nurturing it and feeding it and fertilizing it and picking off, the dead and which would be almost like, wounds on an arm or something. And you're sort of nurturing it. And I look at it that way. Some of my relatives were very involved in gardening and things of that nature. So I picked it up early as a kid. And when I'm out in the yard, I'm always tending to, caring for. And I think it's an extension of what I do anyway, as a person.
Right.
Caring for it, tending to it. Oh, this one looks like it needs some fertilizer. This one looks really healthy. Because I think when you tend to things like that, and of course, when we tend to each other's needs as well as people, but when you tend to something like vegetable plants, trees, shrubs, lawns, whatever, flowers, it gives back either in flowers, beautiful foliage, perhaps vegetables, tomatoes. And so if you take care of it, then it takes care of you. And that's the way the world, it's a representation of the way this whole thing, this earth, this experience is supposed to be, isn't it?
Yes, and I think that what happens when I go outside, I get a little distracted because when I was really getting into this energy work, I then became aware that it works as well with animals. So when I go outside, I get a bit distracted because either a squirrel or a bird. We started to get messages from the pets as well, and that's kind of a conversation of its own. And actually pets are actually very funny.
Actually, tell us a little bit about that, because a couple of people have asked about that. Because I mentioned it when I did the introduction. Obviously, we're celebrating you as the Jim Master Show Live Viewer of the Week, but we're also talking about some of the incredible things that you do. The part with pets, how does it work with pets and getting sort of, like you say, the vibes and the sensations and everything that you get from pets as well?
Yes, and again, that was another area that was very unexpected. Back to the ballroom, I met a veterinarian there, Dr. Bernadette Spector, and she said to me, do you read pets? And I said, well, I really don't know, because I really hadn't ventured down that path at that point in time a few years back. And so she said, well, do you want to try? And I said, sure. And so she invited me down to her veterinary practice, and she left me in a room with some pets. And of course, she knew what the diagnosis was because she's the vet. And she came back in, and I told her what I thought was going on with the pet, and she confirmed that my accuracy there. And then other clients of mine that came to me for themselves said, do you think you could offer some insights as to what's going on with my pet in terms of behavioral issue, or not a behavioral issue in terms of fear or anxiety in the pet for whatever reason, or that they're demonstrating a different behavior that might have more of an underlying health issue going on? And I said, sure. And then I found that, what we sometimes as humans perceive to be different really wasn't different. It's still the language of energy that works with people as the same that works with pets. Actually, with pets, it's easier because they don't have any filter. So they're actually quite direct. Right. I had a client that she said, I'm not sure what's going on with my dog Daisy. And at the time that I basically reached Daisy, I was able to find out that Daisy's sight and vision was declining so badly, and that's why she was acting the way she was. And when I called the client back, and so I said, have you noticed, the trepidation and how she's just really attached to your leg, and even going around the house or out to the deck where she's used to going. Anyway, long story short, as it turned out that Daisy was her body was failing her in that way. And that was information that then the owner could better benefit from as far as her care and understanding what was needed. Another client, the dog was wanting to go out like most dogs do for a walk. And when she would take the dog out, in a few seconds, the dog wanted to come right back in. And she wasn't sure why. She doesn't see anything out there. She's not hearing anything that's going on that's making, the dog so nervous. And what I found out was that, the dog had a sense of anxiety with something that wasn't visible to the owner that was going on in the neighborhood. And then that was able to be addressed so that, the taking the dog for a walk wasn't this big puzzle as far as what's going on. And then I'll just tell one cat example just to try to be a little bit, representative of our more familiar
pets. Get the felines in there, yeah.
More familiar with some pets that we have. There's a client that has 5 cats, and one cat is the alpha cat, and then the others, of course, are not. But she said, I've had this one cat for 9 years, and the first 2 years, very, very social, would be upstairs with us, etc. And then we're not sure what happened, but the last 7 years, the cat just wants to be by herself downstairs. She'll run upstairs and eat, but then she'll run right back downstairs. And we really don't know what is causing this. And we've taken her to the vet. She seems fine, but we really can't figure it out. We'd like to have the old personality back because we enjoyed that. And so I had actually worked with this client, for herself on the human level. So she said, maybe you can figure something out. Anyway, so when I communicated with the cat, I said, what's up? And so the cat was really direct, and she said, I just had it with the alpha cat. I don't want to be an alpha. I don't want to compete with the alpha, but I also don't want to be bossed around by the alpha. And right. I'm really very smart, and I can entertain myself, and I just don't want to put up with it. And I know this sounds like a really wild story, but it's really true. And, there's a testimonial on the website about it. Anyway, so I said, well, do you want a different owner? Because they're really worried about you, and they're taking great care of you. And so she said, no, I don't want another owner. I'm happy where I am. And so I said, well, they're really worried about you, and they haven't been able to figure out. I said, do you think you could just pop upstairs and let them pet you for a little bit and show a little appreciation, because they don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'll tell them what's going on, and maybe they can be more aware of the alpha's cat's activities to make it more manageable for you. And so she said, okay. And so as I was typing this up to send it to the client that was in the Midwest, I'm on the East Coast, and I hit the enter key. She called and we communicated, and she said, you're not going to believe it, but that cat that was been in the basement for all these years and would only pop up at a certain time to eat and then run back down is up in the kitchen and having lunch with us. And she's been upstairs ever since.
That's amazing, huh?
And again, these are client-driven testimonials. And again, if you looked me up on LinkedIn and saw my corporate background and you hear me telling this, would you ever think that person on LinkedIn in the corporate world would be telling these stories? No, I don't. I'm equally amazed.
Because we are all growing and evolving every day of our lives. We're not in fixed positions. People can box us in saying, well, you're that because you've always done that, or you're that because you've always said that, or you're that because you've always been that way. We are growing and evolving every single day. And there's nuances and things we learn about ourselves, as much that I've learned about myself as time's gone on, and experiences I've had and people I've dealt with, and career, work, and just conversation, just regular conversation. There's so much I've learned, and alone time driving through Death Valley, that story, so much that's really sparked so much in me too. So we're growing and we're evolving, and when we embrace it, it's a beautiful thing. And speaking of,
when we think about cultures that we admire or we marvel at, like the Aboriginal people, and that are very close to the earth, and the skills that they have in working with animals and things like that. They were much more, and have been for obviously a very long time, and other cultures like that around the globe, that they've gotten this language of energy from the day they were born, and they just never lost it. And that's why earlier in the show, I just mentioned that it's not a gift specific to me. We all have the aptitude for this language. It's just that we got so busy learning so many other things that and it wasn't part of our cultural focus to figure out how to learn and get proficient at this language of energy. But it applies to everyone, including people and pets. It applies to nature as well. And as you mentioned about earlier, some most important elements of our life being free, the language of energy is free. And it's spoken, it actually, maybe it's not spoken or used as fluently by everyone, but it is applies to everyone.
That's right. That's so beautifully said. And is it easier said than done to apply it to our lives?
It takes practice. I think some more than others, just like anything in life. I think that you have to surrender to the pace. And again, surrender is not a word that was ever in my vocabulary in my corporate world, in my corporate days. But if you surrender to the pace of it in terms of how fast you can become more proficient, then I think it opens up all the more with awe. So I first, when I was trying to learn it, my former mindset of, well, I want to be this proficient, this fast, in this time frame, and it's not necessarily my time frame. So you have to let it evolve, and the more that I was patient and let it evolve, the more that unfolded in a very good way. So you have to allow it to unfold. It's not like taking another, like Spanish or French or Russian, in terms of you can study certain books in a certain time frame and become proficient. This has more nuance to it, but the beauty of the nuance is that when people will say, well, how can you work with people from all different areas of the globe? Well, because the symbols that I'm being shown, or the pictures that I'm being shown as terms of how the story is unfolding, are universal and don't matter. So that's the upside.
Well, this has been a complete upside, Marianne Kelly in New Jersey. It's a blessing to call you a friend. It's off of the Jim Masters Show Live. It's a blessing that we have met professionally and then have become friends as a result through our work on radio and television with the team at Close Up. And then for you to be following us here nightly at the Jim Masters Show Live, you're wonderful. I believe in you greatly. I'm very honored to call you a friend and a colleague. And it's a blessing to have you here as our viewer of the week, a real blessing. And thanks for opening up your world and your life to us here on the show so eloquently and so beautifully and comfortably here on the program. And I know our viewers have been enriched by it. I'm glad that you're the viewer of the week. And again, folks will be able to see this in the archive by going to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. You can see it, as well as right here on Facebook at Jim Masters TV. Marianne, I hope you enjoyed your time with me here on the show.
I certainly did, Jim, and thank you. It's really an honor, and it's an honor and a pleasure. And I also extend my thanks to all the viewers that were gracious enough to participate, and I enjoyed the questions as well. So wish you all the best, Jim, in your continued success. So congratulations on that Telly Award.
I appreciate that. It's that was a real labor of love, and you can understand how I just had a self-imposed headache in creating that to really want to capture her story in the way that we did. And I wish you a wonderful rest of your weekend. I'm sure we'll be chatting again soon, Marianne. Again, the best to you and your family, and thanks so much for joining us here. And I toast you once again.
All right, we'll toast here.
Got to get that toast, and the whole gang here, the guest characters toast you. There we go.
All right.
Clang,
Thank
clang,
you
clang.
so much. Thank you.
All the best to you. Blessings to you and the family. And again, I love the fact that you not only worked with me professionally as my guest on Close Up Radio and Close Up Television, but you're actually kind enough to be following along what I'm doing here and what I'm building and creating. We're actually creating and building something here with the Jim Masters Show Live that a lot of people have asked me to do for a long time. And I'm so honored that you're following along and supporting it and sharing it in the way that you are, Marianne.
Oh, it's delightful. It really is delightful. So it's very enriching from the guests that you have, as well as your own experiences that are from many walks of life, and also with the guests that are making it, live and so actively participating. So it's a very rich program.
Thank you very much. And it just got richer with you being as the viewer of the week. You take care.
Thank you very much.
And enjoy the beautiful weekend here in the Northeast. And we'll chat again real soon, Marianne. Okay?
Sounds great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
all
Jim.
Right. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Bye-bye. You too.
Bye-bye. Our very special guest, Marianne Kelly. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, there's always surprises here on the Jim Masters Show. She's our viewer of the week. We made tonight the viewer of the week, and I hope you really enjoyed what you watched and what you maybe absorbed from our conversation as well, a little levity in there and some deep conversation. This show is truly a mix of a lot of different things. When we have guests and when we have viewers of the week, again, I like to bring in the viewers and celebrate the folks who actually take the time out of their lives to watch this show, share the links, have watch parties, and share of themselves. So many of the comments that have come in throughout this broadcast have been absolutely beautiful, and I appreciate the comments coming in as well. This show is, again, going on almost 5 weeks old as of next week. It's been a labor of love and a lot of labor, but a lot of labor of love, and it's truly a blessing, and it continues to grow because of you watching and sharing the links and posting and telling and all the comments and watching the re-airs on YouTube and everything else. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of levity on the show as well. Like I say, lights, camera, action. And I always tell you guys, and as I mentioned, all your friends are here. Silver's here. If I don't show Silver, everybody gets upset. So there's Silver. He's one of our cast of characters. Jimmy is here as well. This is the routine we do as a host here on the show. Jimmy says hello. Again, this is, if you're just joining us, it's a family heirloom, childhood toy from our nostalgic week we did a couple of weeks ago. And Jeannie, there she is. We didn't show her in the beginning, but she's still in the bottle there. Can you see her in there? I think she's blinking at you. Still very unhappy because the salons are still closed, I think, till next week. She hasn't been able to get the hair done. That's why she would have popped out of the bottle for you, but she won't until the hair's done. And being quarantined in the bottle since March, she lost her powers. So hopefully, I don't know how she's going to, maybe Haji or somebody's going to get her the powers again. And of course, we always say that you are a star. I may be the star of the show as the host, but I think you and you and you and you are the star of this broadcast every single day. It's a blessing to have you here. I say, and this coincides so beautifully with some of the conversation Mary and Kelly and I've had this evening, to relax, to breathe. It's Saturday night. Boy, that disco ball is really on fire, huh? Put some music on, relax, maybe whip out that old Saturday Night Fever album. It's almost 9 o'clock. We weren't going to go this long, but we tend to because these conversations and just the fun with you just continues to be fantastic. Although Johnny Carson went, an hour and a half, 2 hours as well. Let's see, more comments coming in. So beautiful, nothing beats it. I want to remind you, if you missed last night, we shared with you the Telly Award-winning documentary that I had the blessing and honor to host and executive produce that just won a Telly Award this week. We're so honored. The crew and I are so ecstatic. We didn't know. We were submitted internationally. We were competing against about 20,000 entries. And the television industry recognized it. And if you go back on my YouTube channel, look for a conversation with renowned visual artist Alice Asmar, you'll see the full documentary that garnered us a Telly Award this week. And we're still riding on cloud nine as a result. Really beautiful. Let's see, we've got some great comments coming in here. The ability, is it all related to pineal gland? Children are aware pineal gland is open in youth. Very nice woman, Marianne. Yes, she is. That is my sister, Lori, and the family in Florida. I encourage you also to go back in time with some of the episodes we had this week as well. Loretta LaRoche, if you watched that, wow. Sometimes I watch these episodes again, because I critique them. What could we do better? And that's what we do as creative people. I critique them. What could we do better? Should I shift this light here? Should I put that there? Should I add this element? We're creators. When I watch these episodes, sometimes I'm taken in as well when I have with the conversations and the humor and everything else, as far as like with Loretta and all the rest. It was terrific. But again, on nights like this, to have a viewer of the week celebrated, it's the best. Tops everything. And to have you watching as well. Just continue sharing it, and I'll be here, for you. This has been something that, again, has just been growing by leaps and bounds. People around the world. I welcome everybody in the United States, Canada, Asia, Australia, Europe. We've been hearing all over the world. And again, it only grows when you're here and you tell others. Relax. As it says on the bottom there, hello world, you're watching the Jim Masters Show live. Relax, breathe, count your blessings. We've been through some really interesting times lately. Celebrate, go outside, get some fresh air if you're enjoying. It's beautiful here in the Northeast this weekend, and we were outdoors. We were out for 5 hours today walking along the coast, and it was terrific. Did about 10 miles. And it was invigorating and refreshing, especially being, cooped up as a lot of us have been. Relax, breathe, count your blessings. You're a blessing to me that you're here watching the Jim Masters Show live. Truly. Great guests coming up. I do remind you that Monday, a very special show with some incredible guests I'm very excited about. The Harp Twins. They are extraordinary. If you want to know who the Harp Twins are, just Google the Harp Twins. They are a YouTube sensation. They are spectacular. Two twins that are classically trained harpists, but they play everything you can think of on the harp. They're very funny. So we're going to have a heck of a time on Monday. Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern live and 4 p.m. Pacific. The world-renowned Harp Twins, Camille and Kennerly Kitt. I met them last year when we were working on a very special, beautiful and inspirational television concert special with my dear, dear friend, Tim Janis, Celtic Heart. And I interviewed them actually backstage. It's on the DVD of that special. I interviewed all the artists backstage and it was a pleasure helping with the production and the elements of the production as far as the PBS pledge breaks and some other stage emceeing. It was just wonderful working with everybody. And we just became friends and have stayed in touch, and we wish each other well. And I asked them, "We want to hop on the show?" And they said, "Absolutely. You just named the day and time. This Monday, June 1st, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live on the Jim Masters Show, live on Facebook at Jim Masters TV and YouTube at Jim Masters TV. The Harp Twins are going to be here. They just released a new album. And again, we've got so many more great guests joining us left and right. Some really cool people are going to be coming up next week and beyond. We have great guests coming beyond as well. These are just some of the faces of some of the fabulous people. And this is even all of them that have said, "I want to hop on the show. I want to be on the show. How do I get on the show?" Right here. That's actually at the Facebook headquarters. That was kind of cool. People ask me, "Where's that picture from?" We were actually at the Facebook headquarters in Menlo Park, California. All right, guys. I hope you had something to toast with. Where's Ken? I haven't seen Ken lately. Ken always asks what's in the glass, and so does my mother. My mother in Florida always says, "What's in that glass?" So it's a little light Oregon rosé, just a little rosé from Oregon. Really nice, refreshing on a very nice evening like this. We can't have it go to waste, right? Not in this economy. And Vera Franklin. Oh, wow. Vera Franklin is here. Vera. I love Vera. She's a dear friend. And she's a friend of the lovely Tawana Treelor and Arthur Treelor and Tommy Treelor, dear friends. I worked with Tommy Treelor at an iHeart radio station for years. I hosted this show called The Home Shopper Show for like 18 years. I hosted it, produced it, sold it, the whole thing. And it was almost like a home shopping network, QVC, on the radio. People would call up and buy dinner certificates and hotel getaways and all kinds of cool stuff. And Tommy was one of the board operators on the show. Good day to you, Vera. It's a blessing to see you here. We're usually here at 7 p.m. Eastern nightly. So I hope you'll be able to join us on the next episode as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We were celebrating our viewer of the week, who was Marianne Kelly. And again, it was wonderful. We're going to have another viewer of the week next week as well. But of course, a whole host of shows from now till then. So I invite you to join us. Want to remind you too, if you do want to see past, a lot of people have been asking this. That's why we've been showing it tonight. If you want to see past episodes of the Jim Masters Show, we've got quite a few. We've got 4 weeks of shows in the bank right now at YouTube by going to Jim Masters TV. Feel free. Right there is all the information. It's at youtube.com, Jim Masters TV. All the episodes are there. A lot of you are watching it on YouTube. Even people that I know professionally are telling me they're watching these episodes and loving them. They're binge watching the Jim Masters Show live, even if they can't be here live with us, because we all have lives. I understand that. They're watching the shows later on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. I think that is awesome. That's great. That's why these shows are here. I'm enjoying, producing them and hosting them for you. Another comment coming in here. Vera, yes, tell all your friends, 7 p.m. Eastern nightly on Facebook at Jim Masters TV and YouTube at Jim Masters TV. I welcome you. I'm so happy you're a new viewer and you're joining us for the very first time, Vera. So we toast you and we raise a glass to you as well. We always have a lot of fun on this show. So we've got George Burns here. Again, for those joining us for the first time, George Burns was only on during our Nostalgic Week now 4 or 5 weeks ago. And here he is. He's my sidekick. He's my Ed McMahon. Don't you just love staring at him? He's got a cigar. He's got his glasses. Cool cat. He's keeping an eye on Jeannie. I wish you all the best. We're going to sign off. It's 9 o'clock, 2 hours, a lot longer than we expected. You have a great evening wherever you are around the world. Blessings, love, peace. We've been going through some rough times. You turn on the news nightly, and it's we're in some challenging times, from economic, from health, from social. But if we can all try to get along, and if we can all try to look at another person's point of view, if we can just be more empathetic and kind. I know sometimes that sounds very, Disney or very like Pollyanna, but what the heck? Why not have a little Disney and Pollyanna? Why not have some brainstorming and daydreaming and fantasizing? You know what I mean? Why not have a colored disco ball spinning around your head on a Saturday night? You know what I mean? We're here living now. We're here now. So let's live, right? Have some fun, have our serious times, and lighten the load for each other. That's what we're here on this show to do for you every night. So thanks again for all of you who've tuned in from around the world. Great comments, great participation. There's several of you still tuned in. I appreciate it. The show is building, the show is growing, and it's becoming something very exciting for me to be a part of. So this is your host, Jim Masters. Good night to the family in Florida. Good night to everybody around the world, the Christine, the Karen, the Lori, the Kathleen, everybody, all of you, the Vera who's joining us for the first time, and Sharon Beth and everybody. We appreciate you being with us, and Austin joining us as well, and everybody. You have a great evening. We thank you very much for joining us. And as always, we wish you a very good night. Take care. We'll see you again right here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Don't forget to tell everybody about it. Share the links. Spread the joy. Spread the love. We're on YouTube at Jim Masters TV, Facebook Jim Masters TV. You guys have a great night. As I said, I'm not a good goodbye person. Thanks for being with us. Love you all. Take care and have a great night. Bye for now. Bye-bye.